Outdoor. Thanks for stopping in, just getting things set up. I'm just gonna do 10 wraps of, I think that's 10/0 lead wire. I'm trying to source a decent source of lead-free wire. Didn't really get that in there very well, did I? There we go, that's better. Okay, we're going to start off with tail section. It's just going to be some brown goose spots. Source 02 those. I'm just going to remove those off. And we're just going to place them back to back. Not sure what camera angle to show you the bend to. Now we're just going to try and even up the tips. If you have bad eyesight, just push them against your hand like that. You can feel them. The ends are quite pokey, so you can tell when they're completely perfectly even. And I had them and lost them. 1 second. Of course, it's absolutely crucial that you get those perfect or the fish will not eat your fly. I'm just going to make a little thread bump in the back here. It doesn't have to be terribly big or thick. It just helps splay out the biots. I'm using Unithread 72 denier in red. You can use black, burgundy, really any color. It's mainly just for the hot spot at the end. So we want to have our biots at the same length as the body, minus the head, or bead head anyway. So measuring that up, I'm just going to transfer that over. I'm going to angle them a little bit towards myself so that when I tie them in, I should sit straight with the torque from the thread. Oh, there you go. It's pretty good. And if they moved on you, like these ones did, you can adjust them. That looks pretty good. Good deal. Hey, Glacier Shark. Good to see you in. Like and subscribe, guys. Get the stream moving a bit. Not sure why these are moving around a little more than normal. I'll try and tighten that down. Alright. I like to leave the excess biots up top on, tie them in over the lead. It'll stop your wraps from sinking into the lead as much and help build up the top of your body. So to do that, just hold them in, tie it up by the bead there. Just a couple loose wraps. You can see that they're over top of the lead. And then again, just some loose wraps to kind of pin it down. And that'll stop your thread from sinking in. Okay. And then if you have some little tag ends like these guys, you can either cut those off, or again, just simply pull them back. And some loose wraps to, again, build that thorax taper up a bit. You can see it tapering over. You can also build it up with thread, but you already got the biots there, so why bother wasting the material? And I'm just going to clear this up a little bit with thread, and you don't want to make a... You want to be more mindful with what bulk you're putting there by the bead. And that's about as thick as I'd be comfortable going, because of course if you go over the bead section, your items are going to slip over. You can build up on the thorax where the lead is, but you don't want to be building up close to the bead. I probably went a little thick there already, but it'll be fine. I really like those rear biots. Those placement on those is bang on. Happy with that. Okay, next step, because we got a silver bead head, we're going to go with silver. Where did I have it here? I had a piece there to cut. We're going to go with silver uni French. Where'd my uni French go? I have to cut a new one. No, there it is. Alright, so we're going to go with silver uni French. Basically what it is a thin thread with mylar wrapped around it. So it lays a little differently than if you were just using straight mylar. There we go. You can feel free to, a lot of people just use silver wire or gold wire, bronze, copper, brass. It's in tractor pattern, so whatever your heart content. There's no wrong way to do it. And I do up a couple dozen in silver and a couple dozen in gold. And tie that in right in the middle of the biots. You can either tie it in the middle of the biots or off to your side of the biots on the side. That'll help to fill in again, make that taper. So you can see now the taper's pretty even all the way across. I don't have to be, we're not doing like a floss body or anything, so we don't have to worry about having that exactly right and smooth. It helps. You always want to try and make your body as smooth as you can. But we're just going to be covering it with peacock herl. And this one is too small, so we're going to save that one for later. And just using some strung peacock. You can use whatever peacock you have. It doesn't have to be the most fluffiest, nicest for this pattern. In this case, I'm going to go with 3 strands. With the smaller hooks, this one's size, what are we on here, 10? Yeah, this one's a size 10. If you're going down to 12s or 14s, you can feel free to drop down to 1 or 2 strands to probably be more than enough for you. We're just going to do 3. One trick is to hold these are the brittle ends. They always will break on you. You want to tie the brittle ends in first, but if you take your fingernail, dragging along it, and as you drag, it will break where the most brittle part is, so you don't have to worry about that getting tied in. And just cut a little bit back from where that point is. You still want to be careful, but that does help give you less chance of it snapping while you're tying it in. Alright, and in this case we're going to tie it right up into the top and along the side towards you. Just going to butt those right up. Butt them right up to the bead there. I like to tie them in tip forward like that. Some people go the other direction, but I find when you tie it in that way, as you're naturally brushing this back while you're keeping it stable and tying it, it flares out and you get a nice poofy deal. Once you have that, I'm going to spin them a little bit and basically create like a little rope. Some people will throw in the equivalent of like a dubbing loop on this, or even just tie in some spare thread to make this stronger. But since we're going to be, if you're fishing it yourself and you're fishing in creek or river where it's going to get a little more beat up, you may want to do that. It'll just add a lot more durability to the peacock because it's fairly fragile. But since we're going to be ribbing it with the uni French, we should be perfectly fine. But it is a habit a lot of people get into. And I don't have my bobbin cradle set up yet, or right now, so I'm just going to hand wrap this. You can feel free to use your rotary. I grew up tying without a rotary, so this is perfectly okay. Get that body nice and thick. Some people also just leave their thread on the other end there and then chase their thread across it in cross wraps to stop it from possibly breaking and going sporing. So 1 wrap behind, 2 wraps in front to lock it in. I'll do that one more time. Again, trying to avoid building up bulk right next to the bead head there. So 3 was fine. I ended up with a little bit left over, so probably could have done that with 2. But it gave us a nice thick floofy body, so. One other thing you see a lot of people doing on this pattern is they'll finish their tie-offs to the left or the right, generally towards them so they can see what they're doing. And what that'll do is that'll also give you a flatter surface to tie in your top buyouts. Okay, and we're going to cross wrap this. We're going to go over and under. And I'm going to go for 5 segmentations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And 5 to 7 is kind of your standard segmentation for most nymphs. There isn't a hard and fast rule about it, but you just want to make sure that it's tied in good. Don't have to go crazy with it because we're going to be doing all of our tie-in points right there behind the bead and it'll crush it down. As long as it's not going nowhere. So cut off the excess there. Looks like I probably got enough for 1 more fly out of that, so I'll save that for the next one. Okay, now we got the fun part, those top buyouts. Just gonna find my white goose buyout. Are you it? No, you're not it. There's one. It looks to have skittered away on me. I got a couple more here, but I just prefer to get them cut off the same piece. There it is. It was under my foil. Hi. So, white goose buyout. These ones are actually nice and long. I probably should have saved this specific piece for wrapping. See, I got a good length to them. But they're cheap and easy to come by. Alright, so we're just going to pick off 2. Just check, make sure the ends are good. Every once in a while you get a broken one, or they're a natural material. So, the birds do pick at them. Now these are going to be pretty similar to the front, except we're going to splay them out so that they're on top of each other, like so. And then hold them in place. You can adjust these after you get them tied in. We want to have them sitting just like that, so they're just a little bit farther than the butt end, but we're going to be tying them in backwards and then folding them over. So You can measure it here. I can see there's a little blip. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, probably not. But on most buyouts, just like with the wings, you have a center section. You can just kind of probably barely see it there. I don't know if the light will catch it. There's a little nib in the middle. A lot of times that's kind of right where you're aiming for, because it'll be the halfway mark. So it'll depend on the length of your buyout, but that's another way to kind of measure them off. In this case, it looks like right where I want it. Probably over fussing with this. Alright, so we're going to tie that in up front. And just kind of pin it down on the top. They're sitting on top of each other. As long as they're on top of each other, you can adjust them after, so don't have to worry too much. And we're just going to do 2 medium wraps and then a 3rd tight wrap. It looks like that. Now this is where you can do your adjusting if they didn't line up or they went cattywampus on you. These ones are actually just a hair longer than they should be, so I'm going to adjust them by just pulling them back. And just pull them together. Just a hair more. There we go. Beauty. You see that's just coming back past his butt on each side. Okay, so now that those are in, we're going to walk the thread towards the back of the fly with each wrap, so you're making it just slightly wider. And that'll lock that in so it's not going nowhere. That'll be 3 more, so you got a total of 5 wraps there. Cut those off the base. There's a couple benefits to doing it this way instead of just tying them back. One of the benefits is folding it over like this will lock it in place. These get trashed by the fish pretty easily because they stick up. And if you're pushing it back like that, these get locked in. So it's a little bit more of a pain to tie them in, but it's a lot more durable. So now you just want to lay these guys back. Again, this is part of your adjustment. I can turn it without losing it. I just want them on either side of the body like that. You can hold them down. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps. And again, walking the thread this direction. You can see, should make it about yay thick on the collar. And then they should be pretty much sitting exactly where you want them. So we want them just hanging off. Maybe a bobbin. Let's see if that's a bobbin width. Yeah, give or take bobbin width. Over top of the butt. Some people like them a bit shorter, some people like them a bit longer. And if you need to move them left or right a little bit, this one, now's a good time. But they shouldn't move around too much once you get into that stage. Let's see, and I think with this set, yeah, okay, made a slight mistake there. With this set I wasn't hackling them, I was just putting the legs inside, which I would have actually done before the buyout here, but we're just going to tie it in now. Main reason for that is I just got a lot of extra hen hackle to use up here. That's a nice color, and it's a little bit too long to be thrown across like a hackle, as you can see. So I'm just going to be pulling off the chunks that I want. It's a really nice kind of burnt iridescent. See if I can get the camera on the right angle. You can see the shine on it there on the burnt spots, so it makes wonderful leg material, but it's just a little hair on the big side for these size 10s. So yeah, in hindsight I would have tied that in before putting the biots on there, but won't make much difference really. These are just for myself. And you can see they got a really nice little light brown tip on them, and that iridescent black really throws a lot of light. And we're going to time in shiny side out. So in my case, that's this way. And we want to have them just shorter than the body at about a 30-degree angle. And I'm just going to do 2 wraps there. Just redo those. Okay, you happy with that? There's 1 or 2 fibers that are misbehaving, but overall it looks good. Now, I'm not going to cut that off yet. I'll get the other one in, and then we'll trim that. You can see roughly how much I pulled off there. Do the same for the other side. Hey, Dory, you're almost the same subs I am then. Yeah, working our way towards 500. 1 fly at a time. Okay, same thing, gonna put it in there. Show you guys this way. About 30-degree angle or so. Once you tie it in, stay. Once you tie it in, it should be the right angle for the legs. 1, 2, 3. Beauty, that looks good, I like that. Okay. You see the legs on either side? And then it'll pulse nicely when it goes through the water. And yeah, traditionally you would do your hen hackle or grouse or whatever. It's not a super fussy fly, and then put your top biots on. But we're doing it this way, and we're not going to say anything. Shh. There, now I'm just wrapping up. I'm going to wrap over top of the waist ends there. Tie them in. That's pretty dang close already. And I'm just going to slowly kind of build the thread base back a bit, just to cover any tag ends. Dang, that turned out, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That turned out really good. That's a nice little nymph. Look at him. Turned out a lot more symmetrical than I thought he was going to. Which is good. Yeah, I mean, you can use like your regular, saddle hackle. Do I have any? Yeah. So if you're going to be actually hackling it, this would be roughly about the right size. You'd want to use a little short guy, a couple wraps. But I have some of that beautiful feathers that I pulled off from another project and want to use them up, and they make wonderful legs. So you can see that little color transit from the dark to the light there is pretty much exactly what the nymphs around here have. They have much lighter ends on their legs and also lighter belly, but in this pattern it doesn't do that. Yeah, anyway, happy with that. It turned out pretty well. Now we're going to whip finish. Take your whip finishing tool, grab it in the bottom, middle, bring it around so you're connecting your line, dragging it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off. Tighten her up. I normally try and finish my tie-off points on the bottom or the side, just hides the little tag out if there is any, but in that case it's fine. I didn't notice at the time I was putting it in, but there is a little flaw in the bead right there. I probably should have hidden on the bottom side, but fish aren't going to notice. I'm looking at it from the other direction, so I didn't see it, or I would have tucked it under. I like to put a generous amount of head cement up top where the buyouts are. Again, that it'll soak in and just keep everything in place because that's where most of your tie-in points are. This gives you a really nice hot spot colored collar as well. And this will soak in, dry nice and clear. It does have a tendency to make colors a little on the darker side, but it will protect all the thread wraps. They're not going to go anywhere. And that's your average size 10 Prince Nymph. I'm happy with that one. That one turned out pretty good. Yeah, so the only thing I'll change up next time is just tying in the legs before I do the top. As you can see, it really doesn't make much difference as far as the finished fly goes, but it does allow you to get probably a better purchase on the top buyouts. And just doing the one fly for now. I'll finish up a couple more dozen of those later. And dropped your sub outdoor. Got you up to 427. Thought I already subbed your channel, but I guess not. Keep up the good work, man. Let's see about Glacier here. There's a 2K sub. We'll drop him sub too. Man, he looks like he does some crazy ocean stuff. Nuts. Yeah, go check out that channel. That's neat. Oh, he's in Alaska? Yeah, that's Chinook. Ah, cool stuff, man. Alright, all from me for now. We'll finish the rest of these up later. Thanks for hanging out, guys.